Hello and welcome. This is Julie, Silver Stitches here on Flosstube. Today is Thanksgiving Day. It is Monday, October the 13th, 2025, and this is the starting of year 8 of Flosstube. Welcome. I thought I was going to film tomorrow, but then I realized today was my anniversary, so I figured my Flossiversary, so I figured why not today? Okay, so I normally film on Mondays, but today, like I said, special event, so I've decided to film today. What's this doing? Same but different. Okay, we are going to start out with welcoming everybody new, everybody who has joined me, everybody who has been with me for the last 8 years, old, new. Thank you for being here. I make this Flosstube just as a record. I don't really go back and watch them, but just as a record to see, what I've been working on, what I haven't been working on, what frustrates me, what, I love doing. Everybody loves who watches. Everybody who loves Flosstube, everybody who loves cross-stitching, welcome. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. So we're going to start out with, I filmed a whip parade. That whip parade still stands. It's still doing what it's doing. I had a very successful week of stitching. I just finished up this morning. It is currently 12:15. I have until, I have a little bit of time before I have to go to work. So here we go. Just because it's Thanksgiving doesn't mean the pizzas need to stop going anywhere. Anyway, okay, so we're going to start out with the Great Canadian Bake Off. I explained in my whip parade / plans what the plan was, so we're not going back there. Just know that I'm stitching for the Great Canadian Bake Off Season 4. Think about that. Okay, so the first one up was a Last in Technical, and also gone. So this is the first and last time you'll be seeing this. This is Moon Dreams by Lucilla. I had a very difficult time. Most of my stitching this week was, where in the world am I, and is it right? I figured it out. I figured out where for most projects, not just this one. I figured it out. I stitched all the things. So I put in 110. If you want to know the calculation, you can go back and watch that video. But 110 stitches on this. So I mainly filled in this part of his head because that is the color that I had on hand. So I am filling in his head, and then I'm going to work down. No before pictures this week because I took one picture out of all of the whips that I did. I did finish stitching everything that was called for this week. So, even though this guy is no longer going to be worked on, I'm still going to keep him in the bag of that rotation. I might switch whips for the new season. I might not switch whips for the new season. We'll see how that goes. So, actually, I might put this away and just in this bin and just say, we're done with that one. We don't need it in the bag anymore because that just takes up space. Okay. There we go. The next one is Great Canadian Bake Off was the Star Baker. And for the Star Baker's piece, it was right? Yeah, Sunflower 8. So Sunflower 8 is by Joy Sunday. And I have it, so I'm stitching it. It is not it's a counted piece. It's not a stamped piece. And if you hear that, that's Charlotte, and I'm sorry, I don't really know where she is. I'm hoping she's... Alright, and so I put 110 stitches into this, and it's going to go this way. So last time you saw it, I had these two here, and so I added what is that, 12 rows. 12 rows here, so that's where we're at for that. Slowly growing, but you know, if this player continues on the way he is, it's going to be done before you know it. Anyway, all right, and the last but not least was the first in Technical Stitcher. That was dedicated to Moonshine Cabin this week, and so I am excited that this one was also where in the world am I stitching? The chart itself is not bad, but it's relatively small comparative to, because it's color blocks, it's not black and white. That makes life harder for me, I think. Anyway, the next one up is 150 stitches on the Moonshine Cabin. The Moonshine Cabin is by Modern Folk Embroidery. It was his first collaboration with Evertote and at the time Leo and Roxy. Now Roxy Floss Co. So I did a lot. Well, I did 150 stitches, but in comparison to the whole thing, that's a lot. So here's the whole thing so far. And move this over so I can focus. So it's looking really good. And then, so as you can maybe tell, I worked down here in the tree down here. These are the bottom twig spaces, and so the road or the snow or the whatever is this. So I was working essentially on these little twigs down here. So the next time I'm going to finish the tree. I don't know what we're going to do after the tree is finished, but I think probably the house. And I'll probably end up with this bottom part. I'm working page by page, so who knows? Alright, so that is done. Sorry, stitching for Great Canadian Bake Off is done. There's up to 4 pieces, but Last and Technical and the person that they asked to leave was the same person. So it's up to 4 pieces, but chances are 3 pieces. 3 pieces at least this week. Alright, this will go back in the bag, that will go back in the bag. I'm going to pause so you don't hear all the zippers and stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, this next clip is going to be short because I decided that you are going to hear a zipper because I didn't pull it out yet. Future me problem. Anyway, Galaxy Gazing by Heaven and Earth Designs. I thought I was going to end up stitching 500 on one project for the week and then switching projects. That didn't happen. So I stitched 100 stitches on this project and I'm going to rotate. So whenever the 500 are done, then I will change it out for a new whip. But, I mean on the board. Once the 500, then I'll change it out for something else. But as of right now, I'm going to do 100 stitches a week on whatever the called for whip is and go from there because that's going to be too much. I tried, and by Thursday or Friday I was already like, I still have 500 on that piece, it's not going to happen. So I did 100 and here we are. That is this. Here we go. I do like the color differentiation between like the purpley pinks into the darker purples. We only really have done this kind of blue here right now, but it's going. It's not going to be, it's not on whatever. It'll be fine. 4 years, right? 3.5. And it's way smaller than what it was going to be originally. So I am stitching that on the cropped piece because the original design, even though it's fantastic, it's far too big. Slash this fabric wasn't going to hold it. So that's that. So I will talk about plans in a future second half of this video, but I'm just going to film all of the stuff that I've worked on so that I can reset the tablet. Somebody in my comments said I'm so well organized. That's just only because of my tablet. I write everything, I mark down everything on my tablet so that I can continue on. That's how that works. The stitch count, the everything, by the way, the stitch count for this week was 1,249. So it's not a lot, but it's better than what it's probably been in the last couple months. All right, so if you heard that, that was Charlotte. She's looking for food, even though food is there. Or I don't know. Anyways, the next, whoopsies, oh no, the next, real life people, the next thing that we're going to work on is in the red bag, which is temperature stitching. That's what's next on the list. Yes, Charlotte, I know. Most of everything I worked on, it was a nice change, was all paper patterns. It was the paper pattern week, even though I have a lot of mixed things in with the paper pattern versus the digital patterns, but there was a lot of paper patterns. So the next thing up for temperature stitching, I'm not going through what the temperatures were because I only did 5 days. I decided 5 days at 50 stitches, 5 days at 50 stitches each instead of 100 stitches at 7 days. It seemed a little bit overwhelming. So I bumped the temperature stitching down to 50, and I'm only stitching Monday to Friday. I'm only tracking Monday to Friday. So this, not going in any order whatsoever, but this is Buttercup. This is NC 195, 2013 by Nora Corbett. I had put in 51 stitches, I guess, because to, finish off the color probably. No before picture, but here's the after. I worked all down here, so that's 51 stitches. This is on a 16 count piece of something. I didn't want white because of the light colors of the yellow and the light colors of the wings, because the wings themselves are like that light bluey. I don't actually know what the color is. I'm not there yet, so we're not doing it yet, but all I know is I'm in a sea of yellows, and the lightest yellow is 3078, so that's light. Anyway, okay, so next is Flox Box. I've written down. So Flox Box is by Ink Circles. That's this. I am doing it in a variegated DMC. One of those. What's this one? And I put 50 stitches into this to, oh, I have to open it up half and half. Oh, good. Okay. I worked up here. Not, that might be a lie. Yes, I did. I worked up here. So I put in this little, sorry for the crease, but yes, this up here, one side was 25 and the other side was 25, so I figured, there it is, there's the 50. Alright, the next one was a digital pattern, and Charlotte, what are we doing? Oh boy. There's this cabinet, right? And she keeps looking up there, and I keep thinking she's gonna jump up to the top of the cabinet. Nope. Hopefully not. Alright. I should have pulled all these out like I did the last episode, the last thing, but that's okay, people, right? That's not that. Nope. You know how you know what kind of fabric it's on and then you can't find it at all? There it is. Okay. So this is on some kind of 18, 20 count, something or other. This is what it looks like. It is QS Butterfly 2. Put 50 stitches into it, and I worked on the pink because that's the next color that I was able to find, that pinky purple, able to find in the pattern versus in the everything, and I'll put it down here, but I have updated the percentage, the real percentage. I went in and filled in all of these, went in, because this is only about halfway, so I filled in all of that to figure out what the actual numbers are. But that is that. That has gotten another 50 stitches. and there's 2 more. So this one is a relatively new start. I started this one staying alive. I started this one if you don't know what Butterfly 2 looks like, just want to hold on to these. I realized I didn't show it on my other phone, but I have it. There it is. Alright, so view mock-up. So this is Butterfly 2. So I'm working along this edge, right? And then the next one I was working on, actually, well, okay, well I have it out now. So the last one, but the next one I'm going to show you is Staying Alive. It was an Etsy chart. There it is. Can you see it like that? This is what it's going to look like when it's... I will make it more clear when I open it up, but that's what it kind of looks like when it's... There we go. If you could just imagine all over the black, it on the black. Anyways, Staying Alive is on a 14 count black. I did find the little piece of paper to tell you all. 14 count Uda. And I put 50 stitches into this. Where did it go? Because it's so so I finished the S, and I moved down to part of the starting of the A. So finished the S because it was only really a few stitches over here. So I finished the whole S, and then that line down there is the starting of A of Alive. And then one last thing, because I decided to not do it in order of the spreadsheet, but that's okay. I might bump the temperature stitches up until 75 because I felt like I just started stitching and then I was done. And because I'm only doing the 5 days of recorded temperatures, maybe it'll be better, because 50 seemed a little low. It seemed like it, like I just said, it poof, done. Okay, and the last thing that I stitched for temperature stitching this week was in this bag. This is Seahorses by Mill Hill. That's this one. This one also took a little bit of where am I versus where do I need to be, but that's okay. Here we go. All my threads are down. Da, da, da. Okay, so that's that. There we go. So I filled in 50 stitches. This is the next block I'm working on to block down. So I am working on this one right here. Put in 50 stitches. And that is it for temperature stitching for this week. I'll tell you what I'm stitching. I don't know yet. I'll tell you what I'm stitching for next week in the plans part of this video. Still don't know. Haven't done any of that yet. So here we go. I'm going to pause, clean this all up, and get out the next section, which will be the train stitching, which was fun. Okay, hold please. Okay, so as previously mentioned, I have finished everything, so I'm just going to pull everything out, and I'm just going to go through the list. Not necessarily what I stitched in order, because I don't remember that, so here we go. So just the alphabetical order that is on my tablet. So first up is, I needed to put in 40 stitches into Butterfly Fuchsia, so that's this. And while we were at it, I was going to clean off my lens of the camera, but I forgot to. So then, whoopsies, some days. Here we go. So I've started filling in down here. Apparently I still need to do a little bit more stitching up here, but I moved on colors, so that's what happened. Forget about my nails. We can't keep up, people. Can't keep up. Working, not working. Working, not working. We finished closing up the trailer this week. That's what happened. And that's what we did. So the trailer is all closed up. Alright. Coffee cups is the next one in the list. And that will look like this. Sorry everybody is glary, but I'm not taking it out of the plastic. That's this. Coffee cups by Mill Hill. It's on a 14 count piece of brown Aida. I now can figure out where I'm stitching because, now that I say that, I fixed whatever the counting issue was, and now we're here. So now, oh man, lies. We are going this way. Going this way. Is that better? That's better. Goes this way. Okay, so I finished the $37.99, and now I'm starting to work on the white and ecru. That's what was mixing me up. There were ecru stitches where there were white stitches, and there were white stitches where there were ecru stitches. And I understand shading, but alright. Okay, Little Dove's Year is next. Little Dove's Year got 60 stitches as well. And I will pull new train numbers for next time. Little Dove's Christmas, I'm pretty sure is this one. Just worked on this morning. And that's what this will look like. Hold please. Little Dove's Christmas is in here at the top. At the top. So just imagine it so that you could actually see it. There we go. I don't have it's not going to be on that dark of a fabric, but this is what it's actually going to look like. Each of the months of the year are backstitched in. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, I have started this previously, but I decided to restart it because I thought I should try and put them all on one piece, even though I'm not really sure if this piece is going to be big enough, but here we go. This is where we're at. Last time you saw it during the whip parade, I had just done this, so I've added 60 stitches down here. This is almost done. This color is almost done going around the border. I don't know what's going to happen. I might have to, I don't have to, but I was thinking about making the bottom of the borders not there per se, because it's just an added, I know it's just one more added row, but it's one more added row that I don't necessarily need if I'm doing it. We'll have to figure it out when I get there. I don't know. Anyway, that was Little Dove's Year by Little Dove Cross Stitch Designs, Little Dove's Designs. You can still find that on her Etsy shop, I think. I know there's a bunch of us doing it now, so I don't want to say I started the trend, but I don't think I did. Okay, okay, over there. Next up is 60. 60 was a popular number this week on Moon Witch. Moon Witch looks like this. Moon Witch is from Artisy. Moon Witch is this one. That's Moon Witch. And this will be, it's on the big fabric. Also stitched on this morning. I didn't know what was going to happen if I was just going to decide to only stitch on 4 of the 8 projects per week or what, but I had already stitched on 5 of the 8 projects, so I figured I need to finish the other 3 because that doesn't make sense. So 60 stitches into Moon Witch. Essentially I added all of this, all of that, and a few more stitches up here. And then another one that I decided to demolish and then figure out how it all worked. That didn't make sense. So this is, again, and on the phone, hold please. This is Never Quit. Never Quit is by Stitchery Stitch, I think. Never Quit. This was purchased a long time ago, so I'm not sure if it's still there. It would be on Etsy if it is. It's called Never Quit. And so I ended up ripping out those stitches along that bottom part. If you know, you know. So I ended up stitching that Y and the part of the, I guess it's an A for today's. Today's another day. So before, I had tried to mark out all of the stitches along the bottom. I realized, I think my S is 1 stitch too high. That's why it's different. My S is 1 stitch too high compared to another. So I might in the end rip out this whole thing, rejig it a little bit so that it's proper, because now that whole line of going up is going to be still thinking what's going to happen. I don't know, maybe I'll make the next segment shorter, so therefore like the next thing up shorter, so that it'll all work itself. We'll figure it out. But I did realize that just now, so we'll see how that goes. Here comes Skitters. Let's see if he'll jump up. I have no idea. Alright, Never Quit. Ornament Dragon. Ornament Dragon is by Lisa Parker. Heaven and Earth Design. Yes, here he comes. Hello, Skitters. Ornament Dragon is this guy. And while he's here, we'll say hello before he jumps up. Say hello to Skitters. Hello, Skitters. Hello. You're the good boy. Okay, up you get. Or down you get, or what are you going to do? Anyway, so that was Skitters. He's going to be 4 in December, 5 in December. Are you already 4? I think you're turning 4. I think he's turning 4. Anyway. Okay, so here we go. This is Ornament Dragon. And I had put in 100 stitches. Now it's all changed. Okay, so tried to bump in 100 stitches in this space up here. He is going to try and sit on my knee. So hi, Skitters. There you are. Look at those teeth on the big yawn. All right, were you sleepy? Oh, the baby voice. Were you sleeping on the chair? Who knows? Anyway, that was Ornament Dragon. And then, are you ready for this? This is going to be the next big thing. The next project that I am very happy that I sorted out, because this was in stall mode for a very long time. This is Simple Gifts Christmas by Praiseworthy Stitches. It needed a lot of help to try and figure out what was the situation and why. I worked on this morning as well. This is on a 32 count piece of Fog by Pictures Plus. So this was my first time in the fancy fabric. 32 count fabric, overdyed fabric, also the super fancy floss. So this is the whole thing so far. And I decided to finally figure out the counting situation for what was going on. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to fold it up so you can see it closer. Oh geez, can you see all of the back whatever? So 100 stitches have been completed today. I decided that I was going to stitch. I figured out that this row up here after that little dot, this row up here was supposed to be 17. It ended up only, previous to this, only being 16. So anyways, that's that. And so I zoomed it all the way up here, moved it over one this way, sorry, zoomed it all the way back down, stitched it all the way back down, realized still not lining up. What's wrong? Only the first two little step downs are rows of 4. The other rows are 5. So unstitched it to where it needed to be, and then not started counting again, just continued counting. So this is finally in the right space, so I will finally be able to move on with Simple Gifts Christmas, so that by Christmas maybe, no, it's not going to happen, but maybe this Christmas I will get it, because I feel like I want to pull out Christmas stuff all in December. We'll see how that goes. So all the way down was supposed to be my goal for this year, and then in January I decided that it wasn't happening because I mixed it up. I didn't know where the stitches were supposed to go. Does a whole thing. So I finally this morning sat down and counted, and here we are. So one more thing. It's a mini finish because I decided that this was supposed to be only 50 stitches, but I did 53 because 53 stitches on I'll clean it up, then the cats get it, and then it's all bad. Okay, 53 stitches on snail. So I told you that I was going to maybe finish snail. Well, there's 1,000 beads in it, so we're never going to finish it, just in a week or two. But I did finish the stitches. So up here and then down here, 53. So all of the X's are finished. Now the next time it gets called, I will start adding beads. Hopefully not in the vicinity of Skitters, because he's still a kitten. He's still a kitten at heart. Okay, so that's it. 32 minutes. Went through all of the whips that I worked on. 1,249. So we're going to stop there for now. I'm going to recalibrate everything. Maybe not film it today, maybe film it tomorrow, but I just wanted to stop in and say hello because it was 8 years that I have been filming as of today. So, ta-da. Yeah, I'm gonna watch what I have to watch. Because I need to watch the next episode of season 4 of Canadian British Bake Off, the Canadian Bake Off show, and I need to get my temperatures. I need to spin for my next stitch 2 situation. No. It's not. Sorry, I just did a thing. Okay. Rename. Stitch. Anyway, I will be back eventually. And it will most likely be uploaded tomorrow because all the things. Anyway, see you for now. I will see you in the next. Hello for the next clip. Not the next clip. I did work on seasonal circle. That's what I call it. And I put in a bunch more stitches on here. I just wanted to show you because I hadn't done it yet. So almost all of the green is stitched in. I've started working on some of the blue down here, so this color blue in here, just to, okay, bye. Okay, we're back. So I put all the things into the tablet and the plans for the next week, and I've watched all the things, I've put everything in, so here we go. I'm not going to tell you how much stuff I'm going to be, like the exact stitch count, but I'll let you know what we'll be working on. So, first up is this purple bag. The purple bag is for, it's not purple, I know it's gray, but it's purple on my tablet, so there we go. So, we are going to be, for the bake-off, we will be working with my other phone. Okay, we will be working on Autumn Fairies, a freebie from a long time ago from Heaven and Earth Design. I promise that's purple. There it is. There we go. And it was not worked on this week, so that'll be good. It'll be worked on next week. What does this do? Anything? Oh, that's bright. A little better. It's kind of cloudy, kind of sunny, kind of something out. Anyway, yep, here we are. This is where we're at. So, can't tell you how many stitches, but stitches will be put into that. And then another new thing this week that I did not work on last week, or this upcoming week versus last stitching week, is Forever by Alessandra Adelaide. And this is where we're at for that one. The next thing that I'll be working on, because two people tied in week 2 of the Canadian season 4 British, why do I keep doing that? The Canadian Bake Off season 4. Here we go. Sleepy Turtle is next, and that is on this phone too. I cropped, nope, lies, go back. Sleepy Turtle is by an artist on Facebook called Tammy Blevins. I just put it into Pictopat, turned up all the brightness beforehand, and came up with this. So Sleepy Turtle. And Sleepy Turtle is on red. This is where we're at. Does it make it better if it's like this? A little bit. There we go. Okay, and then again for a second time this week, for a second time, Moonshine Cabin by Modern Folk Embroidery. Again, we saw it already in the last clip, but I'll show it to you again just in case you don't remember. Everything is from Evertote. This is where we're at. So we're working on that bottom part of the circle. And then, so that's it for the bake-off section of stitching for next week. The next color in the Excel sheet I'm working with is the blue folder, my snail folder, that is stitched to 500. So this week, and this week only, no, there's going to be 4 more weeks. This week we are going to be working on, it's at the top of here, pre-mock-up, is Dragon in the Morning by Randall Spangler of Heaven and Earth Design. I felt bad if I was going to stitch on things tonight and not film it yet, so that's why we're filming it on the same day. So that maybe by the time I get home from work tonight, I will compile and upload it, but chances are it might be tomorrow. Alright, here we are. This is where we're at. And so I'll just continue filling in the parked threads so that everything will be taken care of on that side, so that all the parked threads will eventually go away in this piece. But look how many there are. Alright, so that's it for that one. And then oh my friends, avalanche. Okay, the red temperature pieces. I have a few new ones this week, so should I find then pull or pull then find? Okay. So hidden disability sunflower. I'm really not talking well in this little segment. Okay, is by a random stitcher, and if I ever get to it, there it is. View mock-up. It's just little, so I can't tell you the exact numbers right now, but here we are. Oh, with definite hanging threads, and from every direction. There we go. So I'm just working my way around that second set of petals. Flosstube we saw last week. Well, we saw progress on last week, but these again this week. So Flosstube. We're going this way. Again, just in case you missed it from last time I showed it a few minutes ago. So I'm working in this, so I'll work going across this way to match up if there's anything left to stitch. Seahorses is coming out twice this week, I think. Yeah. And that is all I will tell you. Alright, so that's that. And then Seahorses by Mill Hill. There's this one. So this will get 100 stitches instead of just the regular 50. But I might break it up depending on how I feel into 2 days or 2 stitching sessions instead of the 1 for 100. Or I might just do 1 for 100. Who knows? This is where we're at with that. I'll continue in on this square. And something you haven't seen in a while because it hasn't been called or I haven't worked on it is Steampunk Portal. And that is in my pictures. There it is. Steampunk Portal. The last part has been released. So I have the whole pattern now, which is good. Steampunk Portal. And for those of you who don't remember, it's right here. That's where we're at with that one. So it's looking, oh, you had the glimmer of the blue. Hold on. Anyway, it's blue and black mixed. It's a lot of blue and black. Alright, so that is it for the temperature stitches. I will put the number in down eventually of the total amount of stitches that I will be working on, but it's currently on my phone. So for total stitches this week, those belong in another one. Okay, so that is it for me. That is my plan. That's not my whole plan. So I plan on working. So many plans. I plan on working on everything for the train game. So that is in this one. These go in there. Organized but not organized. Okay, train game is in this bag. Various amounts will be worked on. So I'll be working on this one. I feel like I just showed you literally all of these. And then on Moon Witch, I think train, click on train, come on, anywhere between 60 stitches and 100 stitches this week. So on all of these, the ornament dragon, minus that N of course, and butterfly fuchsia. This one again. These are all going to be pulled out every week until, I don't know, what should I do? Any ideas before I switch them out? Should they be the whole, how long am I playing this game for? Until 500? Snail? No, not snail. Coffee cups. What else is in this pack? Never Quit is this one. That's not Never Quit. This is Never Quit. Words are so hard to... That says yesterday in there. You can't see it, but there it is. Yesterday. Anyway. Okay. And then what else is in here? And Little Dove's Cross Stitch. So, the Little Dove's ear. So, those will all be worked on again. So that is where we're at for that one. Past that... Yes, those stitches are ranging anywhere between 60 and 100 this week, so it should be fun. And Snail. I have to start beating Snail so that it'll get done, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but an amount of stitches will be in for that as well. I think that is it because I've gone through all of my bags. I don't know if I will show you my train bags every single week, considering I showed you at the beginning, so I'm not going to do a recap of the plan to work on every, because I plan on working on all 8 every week, so I think you'll just see those in the future during the what did I work on this week segment. Anyway, again, hope you have a great rest of the week. Happy Thanksgiving if you're in Canada, and I will see everybody next week. Bye, everybody.